Well, all this month, people in schools across the country have been spreading the word about ending the bullying epidemic once and for all. However, bullying isn't just happening here in the U.S. It has become a global issue. So the author of With All My Might knows the impact of bullying on an international level. Gabriella was bullied herself, actually, simply for being adopted by a family from a different country with a different race. And now she has turned those painful experiences into a learning experience for others. And though her book has become an advocate for kindness, she's also an advocate herself. So this amazing author is now with us here to share her story and shed light on why bullying needs to stop. Welcome, Gabriella. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
So share with us your background. Tell us a little bit more about your experience and who you are.
In a nutshell, born in Pakistan, brought by my biological mother to a Catholic orphanage. I would say that's the first conformity because they changed my name to Gabriella. And I stayed there for 3 years, and then I was one of the lucky ones, and I was adopted by a Dutch diplomatic couple. And from the moment I was adopted, I obviously stood out because in the 60s in Europe, predominantly a Caucasian world, I felt a total outcast. And I think multicultural adoptions weren't something that was known at that time. My teacher didn't even know what adoption was. So if my mom picked me up at school, I had to defend myself that I had a blonde, tall mother.
You constantly had to redefine that this is my mom. This is correct.
And because they moved around a lot, I had to keep doing it.
Process over and over again. So tell us about your bullying experience. How were you bullied?
Well, I was bullied obviously more about my race than anything else. But one of the key things I learned as a small child, I instinctively learned that the bully and the victim are mirror images of themselves. Because I was scared, but what was actually really funny is that the bully is scared too. And when I realized that, I changed attitudes.
Really?
Not permanently, because often I was still scared and fearful of who I was. But once in Holland, I was called peanut butter every day in this new school, and they ripped off my clothes one day on the playground. And that's a scene I'll never forget.
Oh my goodness.
And the biggest humiliation for me was not actually that scene, you know, that you just want the ground to swallow you. The part that was really difficult for me is that they told my parents. And so I hadn't told my mother, of course, that I had been bullied day after day. I just kept saying that school was fine.
Yes, as I imagine a lot of children
I
do.
think, for me personally, the reason we do that is because we cannot go through the humiliation twice. We don't want our parents to know. We don't want to be seen as this weakling. And we don't want brothers, siblings to know, aunts, uncles. It's kind of like, you know, home has to be safe.
And our viewers can really fully go down the path of your experience through your books. So tell us about your books. You wrote, you just recently wrote one with All My Might, and you also have a children's book too, I understand.
Yeah, I wrote With All My Might because it's a memoir, my story is unique, and I realized that it's okay not to belong. So one day I said, that's it, you know, it's your attitude that gets you anywhere and everywhere. And a little bit of human kindness does go a far way too.
Yes, it does.
So I said to myself, maybe something was taught to me in this orphanage by having nothing. I'm one of those lucky, happy people that always sees the bright side. And I see a lot of people that don't live like that. So I said, I'm going to write this down, my story, and that it's okay not to belong and to have one leg in the East and one in the West and not belong to either world.
Because you know there are other people too in the same exact situation, and it's nice to know that they're not alone.
They're not alone at all. But the children's book comes from speaking in schools.
Okay.
I saw the necessity of this bullying. This is an epidemic, and we have to save children.
Absolutely. And where can people get your books?
Amazon is the easiest, of course, or you can go to my website, GabriellaVanRij.com.
Gabriella, you are truly inspirational. Wow. And I look very forward to diving even further into your story with All My Might. And I'm going to check out I Can Find My Might for my daughter. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Pleasure to meet you. All right. Well, after the break, we're going to discuss bullying at the local level and meet one mom who turned her personal grief into action. Stay with us.